When we perform music from earlier generations, how much of what we take for granted actually belongs to the composer's time? Hello, I am Nicolas Constantinou, pianist, pedagogue, and researcher. When approaching music of the past, we need to understand that many conventions were simply taken for granted at the time. Some were subsequently lost, while others were altered as the music passed through successive generations and different aesthetic ideals. Beethoven provides a fascinating example. The generation that followed him witnessed the rise of Romanticism and of the virtuoso concert pianist. Inevitably, Beethoven's music was absorbed into this new musical culture and increasingly interpreted through Romantic ideals and aesthetics. Over time, these layers of interpretation can become so familiar that we begin to mistake them for the original language of the music. This is where research becomes invaluable. Historical evidence invites us to question our assumptions and to re-examine aspects of performance that may have changed over time. Of course, absolute authenticity or complete access to a composer's intentions is impossible. But every ray of light that historical evidence can shed brings us a little closer to understanding the musical world in which these works were created. Johann Nepomuk Hummel, a contemporary of Beethoven and one of the most important pianists composer of his generation, provides us with a fascinating example in his 1828 treatise on piano playing. In his discussion of tempo, Hummel presents 16 different forms of Allegro. But these are not simply 16 different speeds. He places the basic Allegro, which he describes as lively and animated, between two groups. 6 qualifying terms moderate its liveliness, such as maestoso, moderato, and non troppo, while 9 others are intensified, including con moto, con brio, con fuoco, vivace, agitato, and furioso. And notice that Hummel's descriptions refer not only to movement, but also to character: majestic, spirited, fiery, agitated, impetuous, wild. This suggests that an Allegro indication communicates much more than speed. It points towards a particular degree of movement, energy, and character. So, when we encounter Allegro in Beethoven, perhaps the question is not simply how fast, but what kind of Allegro, and what character does it imply? How does this change the way you think about Allegro? Let me know in the comments.